Okay, so I've drilled out the holes in the bottom and I've put in my fittings, and I put a switch on the first barrel. I'm going to put a hose off of this one and then connect two more barrels to these two. So I'm going to put a timer switch right in here, and all of this is going to end up over there. I'm going to stack them on cinder blocks, so that's the next step of the project. But so far my drain system is working out better than I thought it would. So the piping was, had a few leaks at first, but I've gotten rid of all the leaks and turned out pretty well. Okay, so I thought I'd talk a little bit more what I've done. Gotten a little bit closer. So I've got 255 barrels. I've got enough these bulkhead fittings for two of them. I've got the other two on order. I'm going to put those two right next to these. I've got these barrels about half full of water right now, and they're holding with no leaks. I've got all the fittings. I've got the timer set up. There's a, I've got a screen, inside that timer, so if any dirt gets to there, it'll stop it before it gets in there. But that's working. I'm going to run 1/2-inch hose up the garden, 16 foot there, and the other side, there's two, I'm going to come off both sides there, so the other half I'm going to do, along here, and then I'm going to run a drip line in between. So I figured I'd run maybe 6 drip lines, and I hope I have enough pressure to get there. If I don't have enough pressure, I'm going to run a pump, but I think I'm going to, especially with these, I got these, a little bit high. They're, they've got a pretty good stream when it comes out. I've got the gutter cut. I'm going to make a filter here, and I'm going to cut out this. I'm going to put a filter in between this downspout and the barrel. And I've got this part of the roof here, and I rerouted, I don't know if you can see up there, I've rerouted the gutter to come on top of this roof here. And I'll get these two barrels set up, and this timer I've got set to run every 12 hours for 5 minutes right now. You can turn them on. It's a pretty nice little timer. I got it at Ace Hardware for $25 or something. So far I'm in this, with the barrels I got for $12.50 a piece on Craigslist from a guy down in Thornton, and he's got a whole bunch of them. I've got in fittings, that's where the money is. I think I've probably got about $160, $170 in all the different fittings plus the timer, I guess. So probably with just the fittings, I'm probably in about $125, something like that, $130. So, but I've got a lot more. I've got 2 more barrels worth, and I'm getting ready to get those set up. So project coming along pretty good. Look forward to filling these up and watering the garden with them. So I've got a drip line running now. So I've run the 1/2-inch tubes all the way up and back down, and I've got 5 drip lines running across. I'm going to put it, I've got it on 30-minute timers. It's been running about 4 or 5 minutes now, and it's already got nice swath of water there. So I figure 30 minutes every 8 hours, ought to do pretty good for those barrels. So I think those batteries hopefully will last a long time. They're 2 AAAs in that timer. I don't think it takes all that much juice to keep this running. So yeah, it looks pretty good. I'm pretty happy with it. Let's see what the wife thinks. Okay, so it took me a while to figure out how to seal this bulkhead fitting pretty well on this barrel, and what I've come up with is I've drilled out the barrel here. I've got my drill and this bit here that gets a nice hole. I figured out a good bit that fits the screw end of this bulkhead. It fits about right there. So I've drilled out a hole in the barrel, right here, and that's directly on the other side. The 2-inch fixture, which is going to be the top half of the barrel here. I got the 2-inch fixture and a 2-inch opening here, and the bottom half will be this smaller bulkhead fitting that goes down to 1 inch or a 1/2-inch hose, which is what I'm using on all my pipes over there. So what I've done, I've drilled a hole here, And then I put, I've got this one split, so if you see here, I've got these two ends. I'm taking this one apart and I've split it. So, this side. This one here is going to be on the bottom, for the 1/2 inch, and then I'm going to slide this up through the bottom of the barrel, and I'm connecting it, with this one. I've put the gasket, and I've put pipe threading along this part of the gasket, and I'm going to drop this in there, in this hole here, and hope that I can get it flipped over on the side. I've done it twice, and I've been able to do it. It's a little tricky, but it seems to work. I just lost my gasket here. My trick is to get it on there and keep that gasket on. Well, of course, this one for some reason just seems to be a little bit bigger. Gotta get it right in the center there. Slide it through. Well, maybe it's this side, but I gotta push it through on. Alright, so I'm gonna drop it through there. There we go. Alright, so I may have to slide the gasket on there from the bottom, but I've got it on a ledge here so I can get up under it. I can look through there and see where that gasket is, so I'm going to slide that and try to get it centered, and then I'll resume this. So I've gotten the gasket centered on the bottom and the top nut on top of the gasket. I think I'll tape them on the next one. There was a close, almost didn't get it. So what I'm going to do is take the pipe thread. There's another gasket on the bottom. There's a 1/2 inch tube. I'm gonna run a bunch of the thread compound around this gasket and kind of try to seal it as good as possible. I've used quite a bit of this thread compound. For 4 barrels, I've used, I'll use all of this one bottle of thread compound. So I probably should get another one if I was doing more barrels. I've been pretty liberal with it. Hate getting it on there and then having it leak. That happened on the first barrel. So I put quite a bit. I've tried to seal the gaps. It rained and I've got a little water on this one, but still should work. Kind of messy. Alright, so then I'm going to take it. I'm going to try to line it up. So in order to hold that nut on, I'm going to get this stick. You can see it from the light through here. I'm going to line up. Just use that as a counterweight on that nut. Seems to work pretty well. Get that on there. Now hold that stick and I'll try to get this lined up. It usually takes a try or two for me. I'm not that coordinated. I think I've got her to ride. So then once this top of this screw breaks through the nut, it's going to push my stick off. You kind of just gotta, yeah, there you go. And then I'll get this screw. I try to get the wood in between the nut and the bulkhead on this barrel. Seems to work pretty well. Just give it enough pressure to hold that nut. Okay, so I've got the fitting installed, and I think it's on there pretty well. Yeah, you can kind of see that. Just kind of scoot it down pretty nice and snug. So my wife's gonna test out the hole. We'll see if we've got a good seal on this water. So yeah, babe, whenever you want to start pouring. Alright, let's see. So it shouldn't pour out until I think we got a good seal. Yeah, it doesn't look like it's dripping at all. So the screw head takes about a little over an inch, up into that barrel, so I bet I'll lose a gallon or so there. So that's where the finally got over that screw head. Good. You want to tip that a little bit? Yep. Can you tip that barrel? There we go. So yeah, I got a nice good seal. Good, thank you. The first harvest of the year. Yeah. So I think I gotta start planting later. Should have a bunch of seeds coming in. Alright, let's get this connected. So I've tried to space these out, but I'll probably have to, work with it a little bit here. But I've got to sit these. I'm gonna put some 4x4s behind these up against the fence and wire them in. The drainage is behind this one, so the drain came down here. It went down under the ground here, and then there's a natural drain area outside of my house here. So I'm just going to reroute the overflow from this one, so it drains right. The timer's here. So now I'm going to start thread pipe. Put the thread compound on all these pieces and get this connected together and see how my spacing did. Okay, so I've got it all done. All 4 of them are set up. I've already opened up the switch and these two started getting water. I've got a couple light little leaks that I've got to work on, but I need to tighten those screw heads around those gaskets. But everything's working well. So I'll turn on the switch here and let it run. My wife had just watered here, so it's got some water in here already. But I've turned it on. Alright, and we should get a nice, you'll see these heads will start picking up water. So I've got the lines run all the way up and down the sides here. They're starting to pick up water droplets. Yeah, that start to pour out. I don't know if you can see that or not. Yeah, it should do a good job watering the garden. Pretty happy with how it turned out. So, a couple little leak fixes I think I've got her about completed. Pretty fun little project. Thanks.